Hello and welcome into the Farmers Union pregame show. As always, I'm Ken Oda. Noah Grant on my left, Jarred Becker, the play-by-play voice of the Austin Bruins on my right. We're getting you ready for tonight's matchup between the Tauros and the Austin Bruins. Tauros looking for the weekend sweep. Bruins looking to take first place back. Overall, I thought it was a well-played game for the Tauros last night, Noah.
Yeah, certainly was. Very disciplined, which is something that you had to have against this Austin Bruins team. Unfortunately, only 1 for 7 on the power play. We'll get to that in just a few moments. So it's still things that do need a little bit of work. I thought the Tauros maybe waned a little bit in the second period, got it done in period number 3. But 2 points is 2 points, and right now, by proxy, so to speak, or game in hand, whatever you want to call it, the Tauros have claimed first place, so to speak, have a chance to maybe extend that lead coming into this evening.
From a Bruins standpoint, it had to be a disappointing start, but overall, I thought the final 40 minutes were played pretty evenly.
Yeah, I mean, first period, not the look that the Bruins wanted at all. Head coach Steve Howard has always said, start off early, set the tone, and push the pace from there. And it was just playing catch-up from the moment puck dropped to the end of the game. I mean, the 3-0 lead to jump out early in the first period, set the tone, and that kind of stayed the course the remainder of the night. I mean, second period was a little bit more on the Bruins side of things. Of course, the lone power play goal from Caden Muir, his second of the season, got the Bruins some life in that middle frame. But ultimately, I mean, just the look at the defense for the Minotauros and Brady James between the pipes yet again, continuing to show why he's one of the top netminders in the league.
You know, that first period, I should say, kind of felt like a gut punch to the ribs or maybe a puck to the ribs, depending on who's, you know.
Yeah, unfortunately, I took a puck to the ribs in the first period. I'm good, a little battered and bruised, but the show must go on and continue to put in the work.
Yeah, I mean, the Tauros jump out to that 3-0 lead. They outshoot the Bruins 11-2 in the first period. I don't think you're going to see many periods this season for anyone, but especially the Bruins, where they give up more goals and they get shots on goal.
Yeah, certainly not. And like you mentioned, through periods 2 and 3, shots on goal really even. But 11-2, what a margin for the Tauros. We talked about their starts having to be good, and I mentioned it yesterday in the pregame show. They had to be executing with their opportunities. Too many times in this building, we've seen shot volume, the execution not quite there. You put up a 3 spot in any period, let alone the first period. I would imagine Cody Campbell was more than pleased.
Trevor Stahowiak finally got the monkey off his back last Saturday, scoring in Aberdeen. He gets the first goal of the game again last night. Stack's heating up, and really, I think he's playing with less pressure now that he got that first one.
Yeah, certainly, and playing like a leader. We kind of alluded to before we did this pre-pack, essentially talking about how he was able to drive the crease on that mini breakaway, and he got hauled down, and he was a little incensed, but then after that, I mean, some guys you would have maybe seen that retaliation, especially with the widened margin in that hockey game at that point. He stayed calm, good leadership role on the bench, and he just continued on. And I think that even though he scored last night, that speaks volumes to me as somebody who knows that that's what the team needs, not what he needs, and he was able to respond.
As we mentioned, Tauros get the win last night. We'll take a look at the updated Central Division standings. Tauros do leapfrog the Bruins, at least on the tiebreaker, which is fewer games played. That'll even out by the end of the season. But we're starting to see a little bit of separation. The Tauros and the Bruins with 25 points each. Bismarck and St. Cloud in 3rd and 4th, respectively, with 20 points each. Aberdeen on the outside looking in with 17 in North Iowa. They lost again last night. They're still sitting at just 10 points. They'll be coming to Minot next weekend. We'll jump now to the Tauros Tribune Live, players to watch. I'll kick it off again. I'll go with Philip Lalonde. I thought he looked good in his first action as a Tauros last night. Had an assist on Muller's goal. That was a play where he drove the net, and his backhand try went off the pad. It laid right in front for Muller to tap home. I thought Lalonde looked pretty good in his first action.
Yeah, really great play driving the net, like you mentioned. Good follow-up on the rebound for the Tauros to add that second tally of the night. For me, it's on the back end, a guy who looked very good, especially early on, Jordan Gibbs, guy we haven't really talked about a whole lot this season, had an assist on Colby Wook's absolute laser with 6 seconds left in the first period. Great defensively. You think about the Tauros getting out to a 3-0 lead. He was part of that grouping where essentially that weird carom off of the Zamdor early on could have been easily 1-0 Bruins, just like it was against Bismarck about a month ago, not to be Gibbs and his defensive partner breaking that play up. I thought he was very good and a great catalyst offensively on the power play.
And Jarred, who's a Bruin that Tauros fans should keep their eye on?
I mean, it's none other than Gustav Norn, the crafty forward there from Årbo, Sweden. I mean, a little quiet last night for his liking, but he was lighting some fires underneath the Bruins on that the forward side. He was getting under the skins of Nicholas Kettinen and then Joel Lettinen and, of course, Jack O'Hannesson. They were jawing away with one another and getting a little bit on the physical side of things. So, I mean, he's a guy to watch, and he's a guy that he knows his role, and he's a very skilled Swedish player, and I see him as a pick to click here tonight.
All right, that'll take us to our home key group, keys to the game. I'll kick this one off as well, and I'm going with brace for impact. I mean that both literally and figuratively in a Tauros and Bruins game. You look at the physicality last night, I would 100% expect that to ramp up. I thought, we talked about it on the broadcast last night, Noah, when the Bruins were more physical, it seemed like they got their game going. I would expect that didn't go past Steve Howard, so I'm sure he'll be looking for his group to be more physical tonight. So both literally brace for impact and figuratively, I expect this Bruins group to come out. Jarred mentioned it already. They want to start fast, and an 11-2 shot margin in the first period to go down 3-0 is not a fast start for the Bruins. I would expect them to come out and try and turn the tables and get off to a really good start against the Tauros. They need to be ready to weather that early storm.
Yeah, Jarred, and I kind of want to kick it over to you. I feel like that's probably going to be your key to the game, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, you're right on the button there. I mean, key to the game, it's getting back to what Coach Howard calls Bruins hockey. It's fast, physical, hunting the puck, finishing your checks, getting the physical presence in there, and of course on that forecheck, it's getting the pucks in. The lack of better terms for the hockey standpoint, getting pucks deep and doing what you need to do to weather the storm, like you mentioned, finding those loose pucks, the rebounds, the similar things that Philip Ledond and Muller did last night to pick up that goal. That's what Bruins hockey is all about. It's just being physical, setting the tone early, and punishing in the best way to kind of explain it, and showing why this team is the team that's supposed to be the team on top of the division.
Yeah, and for me, it's the right side of the disciplinary line. The Tauros were last night, but you have to create something special. What I mean by that, you can't go 1 for 7 on the power play. Need a little bit more execution. You'll take the power play goal, but bad news bears. Speaking of Bruins, by the way, the Tauros right now, their lone power play goal was on a very poor-looking power play up to that point. They, meaning the Tauros, have a league-wide 6th worst power play out of the total 32 teams in the NHL. They're tied for last in the Central with North Iowa on the man advantage. So special teams defensively have looked good. You've got to have that offensive piece pick you up. Ken, we alluded to it on our broadcast. It's been good. The Tauros haven't needed it, but if you can add that extra dynamic, that could be the difference maker against a good Bruins team.
And certainly, I think that's one of the things in the past when the Tauros power play has been good. It's been a huge piece of the winning record. When it's struggled, the team has struggled. This year, the team is not struggling without the power play, but at a certain point, you're going to want to be able to convert on the man advantage. That will bring us to our Forebears Casino and Lodge over-unders. Fans, you still have time. Open up the Tauros Hockey mobile app on your phone. You can get your guesses in and win a $300+ stay-and-play package. Includes a night in the hotel, a dinner in the restaurant, and $200 in free slot play. We'll let both of you guys play along as well. We're going to start this one off with total fighting majors called 1.5. It is rare, but I have seen just one fighting major called when the other player didn't fight back. So we want to see a full-on, or to get the over, you have to have a full-on fight, 2 guys going at it. Noah, I'll start with you.
Statistically, the math says take the under, but hey, I'm a little bit crazy, so I'm going to take the over here. I think this game could have a little bit of chippiness. Depending on what the score spread is, if we get anything like we had last night, things could get really interesting really quick.
And honestly, for me, I'm going to go with the under. I know the Bruins know what they need to do. They need to stay cool, calm, and collective and get underneath the skin of this Minotauro team, which they started to do in that second and third period. I honestly think we're going to see the under, and both teams are going to keep it composed, and the top's not going to come off.
I would imagine, Ken, if we do hit the over on this one, we're going to see a lot of guessers probably eliminated very quickly in this over-unders here this game.
And then we'll go back. Tauros had 7 power play opportunities, so the second Forebears Casino and Lodge over-under. Total Tauros power play opportunities, we've got it set at 3.5.
Over, easily.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the over. That's it's a big thing. I mean, both teams are going to see ample power play minutes here tonight. I know Bruins didn't get as many as they would have liked last night. I mean, 1 for 4 with Caden Mears' lone power play goal. But ultimately, like you said, special teams for both teams looking to try to set the tone as Bruins power play, not where they like to be this season as well. But the penalty kill, it's a 1-2 punch with you guys up in first and then us in second.
And then the final one, total goals scored. This is Tauros and Bruins goals, so we've got it set at 5.5.
Yeah, I have to have 6 combined between the two teams. I'm going to go under. I expect a tight checking, more physical game. I'm going to say maybe like a 2-1 score tonight.
I'm going to go under as well, and I'm going to keep it 3-1. Empty netter to end it out.
And the final thing we have for you on the pregame show, we're going to do it quick. McDonald's Tauros Trivia, who is the first Toro to record a hat trick against the Austin Bruins. Your options are Blaine Warner, Chase LaPinta, Nick Armstrong Kincaid, or going way back, Johnny Walker. Any guesses?
I'm going to stick with Blaine Werner. I think I was wrong yesterday, so I'm going to stick with my guy.
I'm going to go with Nick Armstrong Kincaid.
All right, well, that'll do it for the Farmers Union pregame show. We'll turn you over to Ben Lifto for the start of tonight's game.